it's Jordan. I am here in Charleston, South Carolina, here at the debate watch party for Bernie Sanders. Very, very, very energetic crowd here. Local like food court slash bar here in Charleston. People are still here. They've been eating, having some friendly cocktails. Quite the debate, quite the debate. Smash that like button. It's a thumbs up button right under the live stream. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see the live stream.
I'm going to make this so short, you won't even believe it, because we got a heavyweight championship bout about to come up on this screen right here, everybody. You know, we've done movies, we've done TV. It's a big part of our life. 2016 was Rocky 1 for us. All right, we got close. We had some hiccups. We didn't get there, but we've been in our training montage from 16 all the way to 20. And 2020 is about to be Rocky 2 out here. We are in the fight of our lives. We're fighting for human rights. People fought for civil rights. We fought for gay rights. We fought for women's rights. Now we're in the biggest fight. We're in the fight for human rights. All right? We're in this fight. We are in this fight together. All right? So, I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this struggle, being a part of this fight. Our efforts will not go unrewarded. We're about to watch the heaviest champion out there, Bernie Sanders, defend our rights. So without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the state of South Carolina is proud to present your heavyweight championship bout of the evening. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, the Senator, the man, and the next President of the United States of America, Senator Bernie Sanders! Let's get ready for Bernie!
Kind of what the other candidates were trying to do. It was a lot of fear-mongering, you know what I mean? They weren't really going after him per se on like why universal health care and a government system is bad. They were really focusing on like, oh, Cuba, and oh, this, and oh, that. That might work with some older voters, but I think based on Nevada and some other states, do you think anybody actually said anything that would, you know, convince Latino voters, younger black voters here, maybe some older black voters that are still kind of on the fence? What did you think about the arguments that were made against them? Because I didn't really see much that had much substance to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and it's kind of surprising that some of these candidates were leveling attacks when people in the black community, people in the Latino community can't actually trust that those individuals are going to stand up for them the way Bernie Sanders has, will actually defend their civil rights the way Bernie has. So yeah, it was very interesting to me that a lot of the attacks were in some ways just like very baseless. The fact that they tried to attack the Medicare for All plan when that's not even what Pete's offering, not to mention the fact that when he says that he's going to pay for these things by making sure that we tax the wealthy, which is a whole separate piece from taxing Wall Street transactions, because trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, at least billions of dollars, get transacted every day on the stock exchange. And if we even got mere pennies of that, which would go a lot further than even Elizabeth Warren's 2% wealth tax, would do immense good for this country. So it was, like I said, like very interesting to see. Yeah, so it was very interesting to see, you know, these attacks get leveled, still not land, and Bernie still maintain the credibility and consistency that he's had over the entirety of his career.
Joe Biden, Sean King's reporting over the last few weeks, he's been lying about participating in civil rights sit-ins for decades. He's been saying, "Oh, I was in the trenches in the civil rights movement." Okay, the last week, he's been claiming that he was arrested in South Africa on his way to meet Nelson Mandela after Nelson Mandela was released from prison. This is fiction. This is not true. There's no arrest record. The ambassador that Joe Biden claims he was arrested with says, "I was never arrested in South Africa, neither was Joe Biden." Not one journalists on stage questioned him about this. He claimed tonight, and I quote, "not true," that he wrote the crime bill. I'm not saying this is a Bernie, I mean, hey, I'm open, I like Bernie, but as a journalist, this is journalistic malpractice. How do you let somebody go on stage and exploit the black community in South Carolina and all around the country? How do you let him exploit South African apartheid? Now, if you want to be charitable, maybe he's forgetting things, maybe something's going on, but not one moderator questioned him about these lies. Now, that's what I think. Were you surprised that that didn't come up?
I don't know if I'd be surprised that it didn't come up. I mean, even on MSNBC, again, not an opinion, just, you can request the video. There was a segment where he was, back-to-back video was played of Biden literally saying, South Carolina is going to be his firewall, and then another video played where the reporter, Mike Memoli, asked him, you did say this, and he denied saying that South Carolina would be his firewall. Now, I'm not saying that Biden said anything incorrect or proper. The video exists. People can watch it and make their own conclusion. But what I will say is that, and this has been said many, many, many times, one, all of these candidates are being videotaped. All these candidates are on video saying the things that they've said. As well, the black community has always been, or at least has been very consistent in its support for the Democratic candidates. Now, the black community isn't just blind to political strategy and political theory. In a large part, the black community is looking at Iowa and New Hampshire for what white people will do. And that's not going to be enough when we're trying to enact a vision of America that is bigger and farther looking than just defeating Donald Trump. Defeating Donald Trump is not enough. Making sure that we are adequately taking care for our communities is much more important than defeating Donald Trump. Making sure that our children have the opportunity to go to schools that are not falling apart or infested with mold is bigger than defeating Donald Trump. And so that is the thing that the black community in South Carolina is thinking about, and in some ways is struggling with, because there are so many voters who are still undecided these few days out before the South Carolina primary with the choice of, do they go to the polls for Bernie Sanders or for Joe Biden? And a part of it is them just simply being afraid that the vision might be too big. And with all that the black community has been through, lacking vision and lacking the determination to dig in and go for the long game isn't something that I think that most black voters are willing to do. And so that's why I believe that we will have a fantastic showing on February 29th when the results start to pour in and we do far better than any other campaign is expecting us to do.
They know what the media tells them, but they don't really know Joe Biden. If they took a deep look at his record, they would understand that this guy isn't really for us. I mean, the bankruptcy bill, the crime bill, vote after vote, we understand. I mean, yes, he voted for the war, but the ramifications of that vote go much deeper than just a simple vote. I mean, we had hundreds of thousands of individuals go and partake in that war that otherwise wouldn't have, because they didn't have that push to get involved in service like they did from our elected officials who took the information that they were given and made a decision. Some people made a decision to vote for that war and send people to harm's way, and some people took the information they had, realized who they were getting the information from, and thought a little bit and made the right decision. And that goes into so many different things as well. I mean, the bankruptcy bill, not allowing students to file for bankruptcy when student loan is crushing them, not allowing them to invest in a home, invest in a family, invest in a life for themselves, it's an abomination to this country, and it's really hurting not just white people who go to college, but people of color that go to college across the spectrum. We have issue after issue that are taking place that affect Americans every day, whether it's free college tuition or Medicare for all. There's no reason somebody should be going bankrupt just because they can't afford to pay for their hospital bills. There's no reason why a diabetic patient shouldn't be able to afford their insulin shots. It's unheard of, and this is the only country this happens in. It's the only country we have these conversations where someone like you with independent journalism has to come up and interview individuals on the street and realize that the talking points are more than just what happens in New York and D.C. And it extends further than that. And yeah, we do have flyover states, we have southern states, but people are people, and they're being affected all over the country. And it's elected politicians that are causing these moments in our lives.
Last question. The people want to know. Where'd you get the shirt?
Oh, unfortunately, I had to resort to Amazon to get this shirt.
I'm surprised Amazon sells it.
Oh, they've got a lot of Bernie shirts, but unfortunately there aren't too many local markets for Bernie Sanders in South Carolina. So I did resort to going to that online marketplace, but they have an abundance of Bernie shirts on Amazon, regardless of what the headlines might say.
We'll allow it. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Appreciate it. Do you consider this like must win for Bernie, or just get it as close as possible? Obviously you want him to win, but
I've talked to people a lot, canvassing. All the people that you see over there have been canvassing constantly for the past 3 months. Bernie's gonna fucking win. And if he doesn't win this fucking state, he's gonna goddamn win the election. So who the cares about South Carolina? Because we're gonna march for it, and he's gonna come close. Who cares what Joe Biden does? Joe Biden's a non-entity. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Who in this country cares about Joe Biden? Nobody. Nobody's passionate about Joe Biden. Nobody's like a Joe Biden stan or whatever the people say online. Like, Bernie's gonna win, and we're gonna win. We're gonna win not only in South Carolina, we're gonna win in Texas, we're gonna win in California, oh God, I'm Howard Dean. Sorry. We're going to win. I am so confident that we're going to win.
Just so, because I know a lot of the audience want to just like quit their jobs and re-register back to college to take your class because they love your they love your lecturing. So you're a professor, you said?
I'm very unbiased in my class. I work very hard to be, to try to provide an equal perspective in my class. But in my personal life, I'm fighting for people to live, and Bernie's the only answer to that.
What's your name again?
John Kynard.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it so much. So,
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.